We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
The debt battle continues. Anti-police activists call for a night of rage. A leak investigation goes nowhere, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lupkin, and here's the news you need to know. The U.S. government hit its $31.4 trillion debt limit on Thursday, and the Treasury Department said in a letter to Congress that it had started extraordinary accounting measures tapping retirement funds to avoid default. I respectfully urge Congress to act promptly to protect the full faith and credit of the United States, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen wrote in the letter. The measures are expected to buy 5 months for Republicans and Democrats to negotiate a deal on raising the debt ceiling to avoid a default that could wreck the economy. Republicans say they won't increase the limit without big spending cuts. Democrats, including the White House, say lawmakers have a duty to raise the ceiling to cover spending Congress has already approved. The U.S. Supreme Court released a report Thursday saying that an 8-month investigation failed to identify who leaked a draft of the conservative majority's ruling overturning the 1973 Roe v. Wade decision that established a nationwide right to abortion. Supreme Court Marshal Gail Curley, at the direction of Chief Justice John Roberts, had ordered the inquiry after the May 2022 leak to Politico, which was an unprecedented violation of the 9-member court's tradition of confidentiality in the behind-the-scenes process of making rulings, after hearing oral arguments in cases, according to Reuters. The report said 97 court employees were interviewed, but none confessed to involvement in the leak. The report criticized the court's internal security protocols and said investigators would pursue future leads. New Mexico prosecutors said they would charge actor Alec Baldwin with involuntary manslaughter over the fatal shooting of cinematographer Halma Hutchins with a prop gun on the set of the low-budget western Rust. Baldwin was rehearsing a scene when the gun, which was supposed to be loaded with dummy rounds, fired a live bullet that hit Hutchins, a rising star in the film industry, in the chest. The film's director, Joel Sousa, was wounded but recovered. The production's weapons handler, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, was the one who loaded the gun, and she also was charged. On my watch, no one is above the law, and everyone deserves justice, said New Mexico's first judicial district attorney, Mary Carmack Atways. A Jackson County School Board member, Keisha Hamilton, faced backlash for tweets blasting white people during a public comment on Tuesday, including one resident who called her angry and bitter. The tweets, shared by libs of TikTok, show the Michigan School Board member stating, "These white women are the stupidest," and calling whiteness an evil. She said, "Whiteness is so evil, it manipulates, then says, 'I won't apologize for my dishonesty and trauma-inducing practices,' and thinks you should applaud it for being honest about its ability to manipulate and be dishonest. Deceitful and perilous," she said. She also claimed that white people are more dangerous than animals. Alex Mueller, president of Pasquinelli Produce Company, said record numbers of migrant crossings have caused him to often throw out the produce he's growing due to contamination. Mueller, a farmer from Yuma, Arizona, described the impact on his business, stating, Over the last 2 years, it's just been a death by 1,000 cuts. It's been a slow trickle, and we're seeing it every day. The community here has seen an uptick in crossers, and it's just been continuous, and it's taxing. And it's hard for us to do our jobs when we take food safety at the utmost for what we do. Anytime anybody enters our field, we have to cordon that off and flag it, and we don't harvest that area. We need help down here, and we want to bring light to this situation. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has tried to bring attention to the situation by busing thousands of migrants from his states to liberal cities such as Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, and Chicago in an effort to relieve overwhelmed border communities. The Biden administration has repeatedly called Abbott's decision nothing more than a publicity stunt that uses migrants as pawns in a political game. Activists in Atlanta are calling for a night of rage after authorities said they killed a man who shot and injured a state trooper during a violent confrontation at the site of a planned public safety training center that protesters have dubbed Cop City. Police were clearing people out of the area around 9 a.m. Wednesday when someone fired at them. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation Director Mike Register told reporters. Law enforcement personnel returned fire in self-defense and evacuated the trooper to a safe area. The individual who fired upon law enforcement and shot the trooper was killed in an exchange of gunfire, he said. The GBI stated the unidentified man had ignored verbal commands and opened fire after he was located inside a tent in the woods. The wounded trooper, who also has not been named, was listed in stable condition after undergoing surgery, according to Chris Wright, Commissioner of the Georgia Department of Public Safety. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.